A few videos ago, I made a statement that I would like to retract.
And I have no doubt that Marty's going to be able to produce some good attacking football. But he's not a magician.
Now, of course, that statement was made in relation to Marty needing reinforcements come January. And while I still stand by that, Cifuentes' 6-game spell at the club so far has been nothing short of magical. With 11 points from a possible 18 and just 1 loss. A 2-0 home win against playoff hopefuls Hull City on Saturday has now made it 3 wins on the spin. A feat not accomplished by this team since the 7th of October 2022. So let's dig into that performance on Saturday afternoon. Liam Rosinia's Hull City was sat in 6th place on 30 points going into this game, with an overall record of 8 wins, 6 draws and 5 losses. They'd started the season very brightly, losing just 1 of 9 championship fixtures. And although they did slow down a touch from game week 10 onwards, they are looking a very strong contender this season, and certainly the toughest of the teams that Marty has faced so far. Last week they lost 2-1 at home to Watford, a result which Rosinia pretty much put down to just one of those days, with keeper Allsop being lobbed from 50 yards for the Hornets winner. Now Marty made 2 changes to the side that played at Preston, with Steve Cook in for Jimmy Dunn, and Chair returning to the starting lineup for Colback, who missed out through a minor injury. Now I must say, this has to be the strongest side that we have started all season. Our best creative players on the pitch and a very, very strong backline. All we had to do now was put a result together. Now Cifuentes has been very big on wanting to keep the ball, but in the first half and indeed throughout the match, it would be Hull City that would dominate the ball, with 65% of it in the first half. You could see the step up in quality over the 2 previous sides that we had faced. QPR dominating the ball, bizarrely compared to the start of the season, has become a bit of a thing over the last 5 games. And here was the side yet again dominating play. But the change here is that we were still having efforts with less of the ball, and we were staying compact and organised while Hull had the ball. QPR's earliest strong chance came around 11 minutes in, with Powell and Chair working the ball short from a corner, before Powell whipped in a peach of a ball to the back post, which Linden narrowly put wide. With balls like this and Chair's excellent assist for Smith last week, it's pretty clear that we've been working hard on our delivery in training. But as I said, this is the best side that we've seen at Loftus Road since Leicester City, possibly even since Ipswich. Man City loanee Liam Delap, Hull's joint second top goal scorer with 5, rattled off a shot 10 minutes later, which Begovic was able to cushion. 10 minutes after that, he would get a second chance, with Siri slipping the ball through to him, with Siri slipping the ball through to Delap before he squeezed through a sea of QPR players, before spraying an improved effort at Begovic, who this time parried the ball back into play. Now Hull have a pretty exciting young attack, though Jayden Philogene, the Tigers' top scorer with 11 goals and assists in 13 appearances, wasn't quite his usual self, miss-hitting passes and putting his best chance over the bar. But we soaked up the pressure, and that's down to this improved backline. Cannon is getting up to fitness and looks an absolute steal on a free transfer. Steve Cook blocked the shot with his bollocks, and Begovic was at his absolute best, getting to shots low and fast, which have often been a problem for him this season. And despite not commanding the ball as much as we have in previous performances under Cifuentes, QPR still had 10 shots. I'd love to know the last time that happened in the first half at Loftus Road. And to Hull's frustration, it would be QPR that would break the deadlock just before half time. Now I don't need to tell QPR fans to re-watch this fantastic Chris Willock goal, but I'm going to do it anyway, because there are a number of key differences here in the build up to this goal that have come as a direct result of Cifuentes' coaching. Let's start with the goal kick. A lofted, accurate, danger ball down the middle of the pitch, hit with intent, a far cry from Begovic repeatedly putting the ball out of play from goal kicks earlier in the season. Difference number 2, Lyndon Dykes' hold-up play. I talked about this being much improved against Preston, and we saw this here again. He gets up to the ball early and nods it on to Chris Willock. Willock had a hard time making the ball stick, but that leads us to difference number 3, the press. The beautiful press. Chair, Powell and Willock all hounding the Hull City players out of the ball just seconds after they've reclaimed it, forcing an early clearance which was caught by Sam Field, who redistributed the ball back to Chris Willock to reset the play. And of course, the final difference, or maybe not so much of a difference with it happening 3 times in 3 games. Chris Willock scoring again. A trademark cut in at the edge of the box, ice skating past 3 defenders, before releasing a masterful bending ball into the right corner, without even looking at it. What a goal. Now I promise I won't talk about Ainsworth forever, but this guy robbed us of Chris Willock goodness for 8 months. He's one of the best players in the league on his day, and this long-awaited return, admittedly one which I just didn't think was ever going to come, couldn't have come sooner. Anyway, it's here now, and I love it. Now at the start of the second half, frustrated and probably a fair bit confused at how they hadn't scored, Liam Rosini introduced Hull's other second top goal scorer, Aaron Connolly, though this was slightly cancelled out by Jayden Philogene having to leave the pitch through injury 5 minutes later. And again, Hull dominated the ball in this second half with 69% of the possession this time, and they were looking to bombard our goal even further with 9 shots, 4 on target. 15 minutes in, again, Liam Delap, a pacey and ever-present threat, glided into the box and unleashed a powerful shot at Begovic, which he somehow got down to low on his right once again. You really would have forgiven him for that one going in. Soon after, Burnley loanee Scott Twine, who himself has recently found his shooting boots for Hull, would have his own effort parried by Begovic after Cannon couldn't quite stop a ball sprayed across the box. But again, despite these close efforts, we stayed strong, compact and organised. 3 words I wouldn't have dared to use to describe this defence 5 games ago. Cook and Jake Clark-Salter look a confident and assured centre-back pairing. Powell and Cannon look like the full-backs that we've been dreaming of. And Begovic is looking experienced and commanding, which is exactly what you would have hoped from him at the start of the season. There's a reason we've kept 3 clean sheets out of Marty's 6 games, because this is a system that suits the players and looks to exploit their strengths rather than paper over their weaknesses. And once again, it would be the impact of another sub for the 3rd game running that would allow us to double down on our lead. Another fantastic ball out from Begovic, this time a throw, had Willock pacing down the wing after Siri, who tried to play the ball safely back to Allsop in goal. Sinclair, having just joined the pitch 5 minutes before in replacement of Paul Smith, hunted down and hassled the keeper, forcing him to spill the ball back out to Willock, who calmly picked out Elias Chair, who hit the ball low and sweet to make it 2-0, another no-look shot. And there it was again, another Chair and Willock link-up, with the pair skipping off to celebrate in front of the loft. We thought these link-ups with these two wouldn't happen again, and now it's happening weekly. Hull City didn't give up, with another 2 strong efforts from McLaughlin and Connolly, but Begovic stayed strong once again. And on 97 minutes, the whistle was blown, delivering back-to-back wins to a delirious Loftus Road. Now, we as QPR fans have rightly criticised the owners and senior management for some very questionable decisions over the last few years. But I've got to say, hats off to whoever found and chose Martí Cifuentes, because we seem to have ourselves an actual football manager. The guy is a gem. His starting lineups, his in-game management, the improvement of these minute details, and his attitude around these performances and the things he's saying after matches, talking about keeping our feet on the ground, the fact that the season isn't done in December. But that said, he's making it pretty hard not to get excited. We're now just 1 point from safety, and with Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday to play this week, we are presented with a fantastic opportunity to control our own destiny. None of us thought we would be saying that in December 2023. Now let's balance the scales a little bit and talk about a couple of uncertainties. Chris Willock, now looking like the Messiah again and not just a very naughty boy on the bench, is free to talk to clubs in January with his contract expiring in the summer. We're entering the last chance saloon on those contract talks. The question is he enjoying his football enough again to buy in and extend with the club, or have his struggles over the past 12 months been too big a blight on his time at QPR? There's also the possibility of losing Chair to AFCON in January. He's not been in the last few Morocco squads, and of course he was unused at the World Cup last year, but he is playing himself into form, and a couple of injuries to that squad could see him get called up. And that brings me full circle on this video really, because that really emphasises the need for reinforcements in the January transfer window. I hope the owners don't become too complacent with the victories that we've been putting together, because a couple of injuries or absences in the squad could put us in a very tricky situation again. And who knows, if we keep both Chair and Willock and we get a couple of reinforcements in, who knows where we could end up. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, I will have a Plymouth Argyle preview up tomorrow. If you've enjoyed the video or have any thoughts, let me know in the comments. And please subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out. Cheers.